It was an eventful afternoon at Timmins City Hall on Wednesday, with City Councillor Dubeau holding an emergency press conference to defend himself against revelations published in the daily press that he had asked Mayor Steve Black to allow him to attend a meeting with Cabinet Minister Mike Gravel so he could promote his privately owned business. Dubeau says the article was unfair.
First and foremost, I disagree with the manner in which the article was written. I believe it does not reflect the true nature of the correspondence. The press has taken small excerpts from emails with some creative editing and created an imbalanced story. At this time, I'd like to provide more information from the emails that were left out so that you can make an informed decision. On Wednesday, August the 12th, I met with the mayor, one-on-one, as the Chief Operating Officer of Fireline, not as Councillor Dubeau. And I approached him in regards to give him an update as to where Fireline stood in the stove miner itself. I gave him full details about our business plan, confidential information, because I want the support of the city and city council going forward as the Chief Operating Officer of Fireline.
The Daily Press learned of Dubeau's commercial motive for wanting to meet with Minister Gravel from a series of internal City Hall emails. Even though his request worried city staff and evidently shocked the mayor, Dubeau says there was nothing wrong or unusual about his request.
I can tell you that the mayor, the CEO, and council, we meet with businesses, local businesses, or businesses that are trying to come here on a regular basis. We do that on camera all the time. This is not a new thing. Fireline is a potential new business, is a new business for this town. We have an office, it's already been leased. I felt it was important to take advantage of the opportunity to be down there where the Minister Gravel was present, who was in charge of the M&M. And I have spoken to Minister Gravel. He likes our product, and he basically wanted me to keep him updated as we go along. Didn't have to be there, but it was an opportunity to sit with him. I just wanted to be in the room. I've spoken with the Minister before. I've emailed him. I've emailed our business plan. He likes the idea. He asked me to keep him up to date. I'm doing that on a regular basis. So it's just an opportunity to be there and to shake hands with him again, and that's it. And if he wanted to ask me a question, then he could have. I was not going to broach the subject.
Even though he was seeking to meet with Gravel at a municipal government conference, and his company had applied for a grant from the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund, which Gravel is in charge of, Dubeau doesn't see his request as a conflict of interest because he made it in his capacity as his company's CEO, not as a city councillor.
I met with the mayor as the CEO of Fireline, so as to garner support in my efforts to demonstrate that more of the operations can be accomplished in Timmins despite our geographical challenges. Because that is a real challenge, but I think we can get past that.
Do you see the potential conflict of someone who is an elected official even asking for this meeting when you could potentially stand to gain from it financially?
Well, let me tell you right now that I will not gain financially from this. Some minor is going to happen in Southern Ontario right now. I'm trying to get more operations in Northern Ontario. This will not benefit me financially at all. I can truly attest to that. As far as being a councillor and being a businessman, those are two different roles. How can a businessman approach city council, which is done all the time? There is no conflict. I approached the mayor as the Chief Operating Officer of Fireline. I responded to him from the Fireline email address. That's where this all came from, not as a councillor.
Could there have been someone else from your company who could have done that?
Why would there be? I have the profile, the relationship, and this is what it was all about.
That's the issue. You have that relationship as a councillor of the city of Timmins. Would it not have been better for someone else from Fireline to have done this?
My partners are all in Toronto. Face-to-face, as you all know, is better. I sat down with the mayor on Wednesday after we had a very contentious meeting here on Monday night. I went into his office, asked for a meeting, and requested time with him as an official of Fireline, not as a councillor. There was no discrepancy or conflict in any way, shape, or form. Of course there's a separation. I'm a businessman and I'm a councillor. There's two different things. Just other members of council have other jobs. I'm trying to put forth the business going forward. Meeting with a minister, this happens on a regular basis. You know this happens all the time. When our mayor has been going down to these conferences wherever, they speak with ministers and they try to influence ministers to support local businesses. This is no different.
You see nothing wrong as a city councillor with imposing your role as a city councillor when you stand to benefit as a businessman.
I am not imposing my role as a city councillor. I approached the mayor as the Chief Operating Officer of Fireline.
You sat at that desk on Monday, October 10th, and you said, I think all members of council in solidarity, I think that was your word, should be able to sit in on these meetings with cabinet ministers, and yet Are you denying that you weren't thinking about getting a meeting with Minister Gravel at that moment? Are you saying that wasn't on your mind?
Not as the chief operating officer of Fireline, no. What I said, then 2 days later, I went to visit the mayor and asked for the meeting as the CEO of Fireline. That night, that was not my intention, yes. Clearly, that is not what was portrayed in your article, that's for damn sure. But there was no intention of that whatsoever. I went there as the CEO of Fireline. I provided the business plan. The email came from Fireline, not from Rick Dubeau, the councillor. It's clear.
Did you consider the public's inability or trouble with differentiating, as Len said before, between you as the councillor and you as the CEO of a company? Did that cross your mind moving forward?
No. I'm doing an interview here now as CEO of Fireline. That's the way I would have presented it.
So this interview is you as the CEO of Fireline?
Well,
In the chamber, Ken.
Good point. No, I'm stating whereas before, I apologize, let me correct that. I'm here as a councillor, obviously, because I was attacked as a councillor. But no, as far as that goes forward, I represent the company. When I speak to the company, I don't speak about council matters. When I speak on council, I don't speak about company matters.
And that makes perfect sense to you, right, as the person in the middle. What I'm talking about is the ability for the public who elected you as an official to differentiate between when you decide that you're the CEO of Fireline and then when you decide to be the councillor Rick Dubeau.
I would suggest that if media does it properly and puts it across that Rick Dubeau, CEO of Fireline, is speaking it, then there is no differentiation. There is no confusion. It's quite clear.
For the Post Media Network, I'm Alan Hale.